Episode 195 of Battle Through the Heavens. Xun'er takes the initiative, offering herself to merge with Xiao so he can refine the purifying demonic lotus flame. At the same time, a full-scale war erupts between the Hall of Souls and the Tianfu Alliance. As the remnant soul of the purifying demonic lotus saint suddenly possesses Xiao, the purifying demonic lotus flame is instantly terrified. Even the control of the refining heaven ancient array is seized. Moments later, the saint opens a sealed spatial passage, allowing everyone to escape, except Xun'er, who chooses to stay behind with Xiao. This entire space is now engulfed in a milky white demonic flame. The terrifying heat is so intense that even 4- or 5-star Dao saints cannot endure it. Even the Douqi inside cultivators can be ignited directly. Floating in mid-air, Xun'er barely holds on, protected by the Golden Emperor flame. Yet she is still drenched in sweat from the overwhelming heat. Her gaze is locked onto the center of the flame sea, a strange lotus, constantly shifting between dark red and milky white. And beneath it, Xiao, possessed by the phantom of the saint. The rotating lotus finally stabilizes a milky white bloom, veined with crimson patterns like blood vessels, giving it an eerie, sinister beauty. The saint sighs. Back then, he was the one who granted this flame intelligence, pure as a newborn child, allowing it to think like a human. But in the end, it walked a path completely opposite to his expectations, a path of violence and destruction. The purifying demonic lotus flame roars in fury, claiming its growth should not be controlled by anyone. The saint calmly responds he cannot allow it to walk toward self-destruction. Since the disaster began with him, he will end it with his own hands. He activates the refining heaven ancient array. A massive double-layered formation descends, forming a blazing pillar prison that locks the lotus in place. He begins stripping away everything, its memories, its consciousness, returning it to its original pure state. The demonic flame erupts violently, crashing against the prison again and again, distorting the fiery barrier. But this ancient formation, powered by thousands of years of energy, only grows stronger at its core. Countless fine threads of flame pierce deep into the lotus, weaving a net that slowly extracts the blood-red mist, the embodiment of its violent will. The flame screams in agony. It curses the saint, claiming this is no different from killing it. But no matter how it struggles, it cannot break free. Finally, its consciousness, manifested as a blood-red humanoid, is forcibly expelled and trapped in a shrinking fire prison. Without its core, its power drops to less than 1/10. It kneels and begs for mercy. But in the next instant, it launches a desperate counterattack. The saint's expression turns sorrowful. In the end, he activates the final power of the formation, and both of them vanish together in a world-destroying explosion. Xiao immediately pulls Xun'er back, barely escaping the storm. When the energy dissipates, they return to the center, but there is nothing left. No trace of the saint, no trace of the flame's consciousness. Just as Xiao feels all his years of preparation may have been wasted, Xun'er suddenly points downward. Xiao looks and his heart begins to race. Above the endless sea of magma, a milky white lotus with faint pink veins floats silently. All the energy in the region flows into it. This is the pure origin of the purifying demonic lotus flame. All its violent will completely removed, back to its original newborn purity. Xiao trembles with excitement. Now the flame is no longer ferocious. There is no risk of backlash during refinement. Its spirituality remains intact, only its negative emotions and memories have been erased. At that moment, Xun'er realizes the spatial passage created by the saint has completely vanished. With their current strength as 2-star Dao saints, they cannot break through the sealed spatial barrier. Xiao makes a decision. He will refine the flame, right here, because if they take it outside, it will attract endless greed. Even the Gu clan wouldn't be enough to avoid disaster for the Tianfu Alliance. But this space created by the saint himself is the safest place. Even Xun'er's father might not be able to enter easily. Here, he can refine the flame without distraction. And if they don't return for a long time, the outside world will assume they've perished, avoiding countless troubles. Xun'er agrees. She knows. Countless eyes across the central plains are watching. If word spreads, even with the Gu clan's protection, greedy forces will take the risk. Especially the Hun clan. They would never get a peaceful chance to refine the flame. When asked when he'll begin, Xiao simply smiles. Not yet. Refining a heavenly flame is no trivial matter. He must be fully prepared, because in the end who refines whom is still uncertain. His gaze burns with determination. This is the goal he has chased for over a decade. No mistakes are allowed. Meanwhile, outside the space, everything has returned to calm. The distorted space stabilizes and the extreme heat fades. The magma desert solidifies into white stone. Countless experts hover in the air, unwilling to leave. But with the passage gone, they have lost all connection. 7 days pass. Still, no movement. Many finally give up and leave. But the Hall of Souls remains, watching, waiting. And inside the sealed space, after 7 days of preparation, Xiao slowly opens his eyes. At last, he is ready to refine the purifying demonic lotus flame, a moment he has waited for. For over 10 years, Xiao nodded. His gaze lifted toward the massive formation above, woven from countless threads of flame. Seeing the confusion in Xun'er's eyes, he explained calmly, this was the flame-chill grand array he had prepared in advance. The cold aura within it was no ordinary frost, but a special flame-born chill formed when heat reached an extreme. Though it could not compare to the array of the purifying demonic lotus saint, it was still enough to suppress the purifying demonic lotus flame to a certain degree. Xun'er finally understood and nodded. Xiao instructed her to guard him. Then his expression turned solemn as he focused on the flame below. He knew very well refining a heavenly flame ranked third was a life-or-death gamble. With a single mistake, he would be reduced to ashes. As his hand seals shifted, the great array above began to rotate violently. A vast surge of chilling energy poured down, precisely enveloping the lotus. The surrounding magma instantly froze into ice. Even the petals of the flame lotus were coated in a thin layer of frost. Seeing the effect take hold, Xiao let out a slight breath of relief. Then, he took out a jade bottle and poured a pale red liquid into the lotus. This was drunken demon saliva, a substance with powerful anesthetic effects. He didn't expect it to completely subdue the flame, only to lull it into a sluggish state, weakening its power and increasing his chances of success. As the liquid seeped in, the lotus petals slowly unfolded, revealing a faint sense of lethargy. Now that the flame had lost its mature consciousness, it could no longer resist such methods. This was the perfect moment. But Xiao didn't stop. He took out another pill, the 9-yin yellow spring pill, radiating a bone-chilling aura. With a flick of his finger, the pill shot into the lotus. The moment it touched the flame, it melted instantly. Layers of ice formed over the lotus, only to be evaporated by intense heat. White mist rose endlessly, and in the process, the flame's temperature was continuously drained. After completing all preparations, Xiao took a deep breath. He nodded to Xun'er. Then, his figure flashed forward, appearing directly before the lotus. At the center of the flower, a tiny pink flame rested quietly like a newborn child. This was the true origin of the purifying demonic lotus flame. Though small in size, even a 6-star dose saint would be reduced to ashes if it entered their body unchecked. Xiao stared at it, his eyes burning with determination. He activated the fusion flame within him, a combination of 5 heavenly flames. But this time, the once dominant flame trembled under pressure, its color dimming significantly. Yet, he did not retreat. Under Xun'er's tense gaze, he slowly extended his trembling hand and reached into the lotus. The instant his fingers touched the flame, it erupted. The tiny spark exploded into a raging inferno, engulfing Xiao completely. A terrifying heat capable of destroying heaven and earth burst forth. Xun'er's face turned pale. She rose instantly, staring anxiously at the flames. Inside, Xiao face twisted in agony. He desperately activated his own flames to resist. But even with full preparation, he finally realized just how terrifying the third-ranked heavenly flame truly was. Blood seeped from every pore, instantly coagulating into dark crusts. His hair was burned away in an instant. And yet, driven by sheer will, before Xun'er's shocked eyes, he grabbed the flame and swallowed it whole. The moment the flame entered his body, his clothes turned to ash. His skin began to melt. Even his dragon phoenix ancient armor was scorched dull. With bloodshot eyes, he roared, forcing the flame mantra into motion, trying to refine this overwhelming power. But the flame resisted violently. Its heat ravaged his meridians, burning through them. Even his bones began to soften. Outside, Xun'er bit her lip so hard it bled. She knew. Others only saw Xiaoyan's rapid rise. But no one knew. Every step he took was paid for with near-death suffering. Seeing his body on the verge of collapse, she made her decision. Wiping away her tears, she activated the Golden Emperor flame and rushed straight into the inferno. Xiaoyan saw her. His mind snapped back for a moment. He tried to stop her, but she wrapped herself around him softly, saying, "Only together could they refine this power." That single sentence ignited his will. The two merged in perfect harmony. Golden flames and violet-brown fusion flames intertwined, finally resisting the invasive power of the demonic flame. With Xun'er sharing the burden, Xiaoyan's condition improved instantly. His broken body began to regenerate thanks to the undying power of the 3,000 burning flame. Meanwhile, the vast energy of the demonic flame was gradually brought under control. As time passed, 3 colored flames formed around them: gold, violet, brown, and pink. At first, the pink flame dominated completely, but slowly, the other 2 began to erode it, until finally, a perfect balance was achieved. At that moment, Xiaoyan opened his eyes. With a low voice, he activated the flame mantra once more. The purifying demonic lotus flame, now resonating with his own flames, finally began to be refined. The sky roared with energy clouds. The magma sea below surged violently. Xiaoyan looked at Xun'er sleeping in his arms. A gentle smile appeared on his face. As the first strand of flame was refined, a flood of energy surged through his body. He shared it with Xun'er. A perfect energy cycle formed between them. Their auras rose higher and higher, until finally, the flame lost all resistance. The raging fire calmed. A pink crystal layer glowing with golden light wrapped around them, forming a cocoon. Their presence completely vanished from the world. 1 year later, the Central Plains is in chaos. The Hall of Souls, seeking revenge for the destruction of the Human Hall, launches a massive assault on the Tianfu Alliance. The alliance fights back with full force. After a year of war, both sides suffer losses. But with powerhouses like Ziyan and Xiao Chen and the hidden strength of the Pill Tower ancestor, the Tianfu Alliance not only holds its ground, it begins to surpass the Hall of Souls. Its reputation soars, becoming the strongest force most likely to replace the Hall of Souls. Throughout the year, Yao Lao and the others never stopped watching the flame space. But there was no movement. If not for the intact dragon seal in Ziyan's hand, they would have believed Xiaoyan and Xun'er were dead. Eventually, they could only focus on the war. And just as all eyes in the Central Plains were fixed on the battlefield, a shocking piece of news spread across the land. After the disappearance of the Spirit Clan, another of the 8 ancient clans, the Stone Clan, has vanished completely. Without a trace, a dark, unsettling shadow falls over the entire Central Plains.